The Importance of Alexander Hamilton, Columbia Southern University, American History 1, by Paulina Lacey. Alexander Hamilton was born into an illegitimate union in the city of Nevis on island of West Indies on January 11, 1957. He was a lawyer, soldier, statesman, and the first Secretary of Treasury between 1789 and 1795. He helped influence the American economic and political institution in the early republic. During the Republic years, he also helped in public policies. Though not a political thinker, Hamilton's greatest contribution to American political thought is his design of constitutional government. He wanted a federalist form of government, a centralized government. He was a member of the Continental Congress and an author for the Federalist Papers. The Federalist Papers wanted to convince the states to ratify the U.S. Constitution. His Federalist essays, other writings, and speeches capture his theory of politics. Hamilton joined the Continental Congress, and in 1789 he became a New York delegate to the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. The purpose of the Continental Congress was to decide a united response to the array of the abuse that the Crown and Parliament were responsible for. They finally came to a decision that they should boycott all imports from England, Ireland, and the West Indies. They also prohibited exports to these regions. In my opinion, one can see from these decisions that Hamilton was against the Crown. Through his Federalist essays, he gave his theoretical foundation to opposition of pushy foreign politics. He wanted to replace the Articles of Confederation with a constitution that guaranteed a strong central government. He explained that human nature invites political governments that have a predisposition to greed and power. Therefore, he persistently supported the separation of powers and a system of checks and balances. Hamilton was not completely in agreement with the document that he signed at the Constitutional Convention. This is why he fought so hard to have the document ratified. Alexander Hamilton became the first Secretary of the Treasury in 1789. He designed the Treasury Department. He thought it was the role of the federal government to collect and give out money, and he also wanted to pay down the national debt. In December 1790, he recommended to Congress that it charter a national bank. The bill for the bank was to sign into law on February 21, 1791, and the doors to the bank opened on December 12, 1791. The bank had an immediate positive effect on the economy and even stimulated business. The bank regulated the availability of credit and therefore acted as a central bank as well. By the early 1800s, the National Bank had strengthened the government's credit enough to allow the administration to turn into the Bank of the United States. The Bank of the United States ceased to exist on March 3, 1811. It ended up becoming a private bank that ended up supporting the government's actions in the War of 1812. Through my research for this paper, it has been made very clear that everyone thinks of Hamilton as one of the most underappreciated founding fathers. Hamilton was the most soulful of the founders. I believe that today's America conforms to Hamilton's vision. Today's America is a cosmopolitan, commercial, and an industrial place, and not one of farmers that are being influenced by corrupted banks. Hamilton was against slavery, and we have since abolished slavery, just as he wanted. After his 6-year run as the first Secretary of Treasury, Alexander Hamilton stayed in politics. He helped to secure Jefferson's win in 1800. Hamilton disliked Jefferson for personal and political reasons. However, he was very involved in helping Jefferson win the 1800 election over Alexander Burr. Helping Jefferson win the presidency and Hamilton's opposition to Burr becoming governor of New York eventually led to the death of Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton died on July 11, 1803, during a duel with Aaron Burr. As I have learned, Hamilton was a man of many words. He had forward thinking in a time where our young nation was in need of it. Sometimes his thinking ruffled some feathers, but that did not stop him. Words came to him easily, and he could not shut himself up. Maybe if Mr. Hamilton had learned to not be so outspoken or even use some couth, he would have lived a little longer. Who knows what great things he would have done for this nation if he indeed had continued with politics.